Darren Aronofsky films. Disturbing, mind-blowing, and make you question humanity. You know, guys, I think we just found the director version of Chris Angel Mind Freak. So Mother is a new film about a husband and wife played by Javiar Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence who live happily in the middle of nowhere when one day they get a couple of visitors, those visitors being Ed Harris and Michelle Pfiffer, and suddenly there might be a dark undertone because as soon as the guests walk in, Jennifer Lawrence starts to think that they won't be able to ever leave the house again. And honestly, this is a Darren Aronofsky film. So number one, we're about to have our minds blown. Number two, we're in for a very bumpy ride. If there's one thing I'll say about Mother, it has intrigue like a master. This film keeps you on the edge of your toes, keeps you questioning. Unfortunately, those questions never really get answered. Or they do, except number one, it's either with answers that don't make sense, or the answers just don't feel deserved. Yeah, I was really let down by this one, guys. This film looked like it was going to be fantastic. But honestly, this movie's a mess. But let's get to some positives. Number one, the cinematography of this thing is crazy. From the tracking shots to the close-ups, everything is very atmospheric, very claustrophobic, and it was very well done to make a very uncomfortable atmosphere. And the performances across the board are great. Javiar Bardem, as soon as he pops onto screen, you know there is something off about this guy. You're not sure what it is, but the arc that Javiar Bardem has in this movie is mind-blowing, and it's really fun to watch. And now Jennifer Lawrence, honestly, I am so glad that she was able to branch out, get away from Katniss, get away from Mystique. She's really good in this movie, and honestly, this is the best performance I've ever seen from her. She has to go to a very deep, dark, Aronofsky-esque place in this movie. It was disturbing, but it was really great to see that she could go there. Now, if the rest of the movie could be that good, we'd be golden, but unfortunately, it is not. At a certain point, probably 50 minutes into the movie, I just had to keep going, what the heck? Because everything is so seemingly over the top, without really any need to be so over the top. My favorite Aronofsky film to this day is Black Swan, and the reason is, Aronofsky strung you along, and gave you little glimpses of over the top, gave you little glimpses of madness. Then by the end of the film, you're just that didn't happen in this movie. It seems like Aronofsky took any of the build-up that would make the third act feel earned and just threw it out the window for the sake of making something incredibly uncomfortable, incredibly disturbing, and something incredibly just mediocre. And in the very last part of this movie, there is something that happens that is so completely over the top, so unnecessary, that it made a couple of people walk out of the theater that I was sitting in. Another thing about Mother, though, is that very much like every other Darren Aronofsky film, this is a thinking person's movie. You get out of the movie theater, you think about what you watched, you think about the implications, you think about the themes, and it does make you curious. However, even though I love the performances, I love the cinematography, and I love the messages that Darren Aronofsky was getting across, the movie was too uncomfortable, too disturbing, and just way too over the top. And guys, honestly, I'm gonna have to say, Mother, stay in your shorts. But as always, it is what you guys say that matters. So have you seen Mother, and what did you think of it? More importantly, what is your favorite Darren Aronofsky film? Leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts. And if you like what you've seen here, and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.